Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us for Global PropTech Online. Before we get started, please be aware that this presentation will be recorded and made available afterwards for viewing. And then also, if you have questions for Oded during the presentation, please write it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And now I would like to hand it over to Oded Eliashiv, the Managing Director of BuiltUp Ventures. Oded?
Hi, thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure being here. And I'll hope that it'll be a productive session. My name is Oded Eliashiv, and I'm the founding managing partner of BuiltUp Ventures, which is a leading prop tech and construction tech VC out of Israel, and part of the Besadno group, which is one of the biggest groups in Israel from the Orthodox public, Jewish Orthodox public. And today we'll be talking about, the prop tech scene and construction tech scene from Israel. So maybe a few words regarding, BuiltUp in Israel. If you guys can you see my presentation? So if you see my presentation, I'll go forward. We are focusing specifically on the prop tech and real estate technology. And the majority of the startups we invest in are from Israel. And we have a founding team that has strong records in the fintech and financial arena and building early stage companies. I myself also am an entrepreneur. I started several companies. And as I said before, we are part of a larger group. It's called the Besadno Group, that has also another investment arm that's called B-Seed, which invests in multiple different verticals. And also we have Sidre, which does real estate, pure real estate projects in the US, and we have also real estate projects also in Israel. And also very happy to say that we have an amazing team of go-to-market people in the US, sitting in New York, and they are part of the vetting process. When we look into a company, we want to see not only an amazing technology and amazing business that is maybe existing in Israel and elsewhere in the globe, but also has potential of succeeding in the US markets. And once we do invest in a company, we have both our team in the US on the grounds that are also speak corporate America, understand the real estate arena, understand the technology aspects, and help navigate the companies we invest in the North American market and help them succeed over there. And we are very hands-on in our the way we work with our portfolio companies, and we carry the weight with them, and we do everything that we can do to help. We're all living, we're talking, I think everybody's fed up already, maybe talking about the COVID-19 and pandemic, but it is something, and this is something we also discussed when we had another online event a month ago. If anybody is interested, you can look it up in our LinkedIn. But COVID-19 did disrupt the markets, and it disrupt every single market. And real estate is nothing. It's not safe from the effects that we're seeing here, and we are putting a lot of emphasis on the disruption that has happened, and with the needs for business continuity and the need to adapt. And I'll talk and share with you how that really affects our investment decisions and how we see the best way to tackle the markets. But basically, you can see there is a big, tremendous growth in investments. And I think that the market is also seeing more maturing, even if maybe a bit of declining in the amount of the markets, but you see there is more growth investments. So basically, and that's something which is very, very important. We see more dollars going to growth rounds, and we're seeing that also. A few words about Israel. Israel, is a lot referred as the startup nation, and we are a global innovation and deals powerhouse. You can see the amount of NASDAQ listed companies. We're only third after US and China. 20 plus unicorns. We have over 500 multinational corporates are investing in innovation in Israel, opening, shop here in Israel, and are keen on investing in Israeli startups, and keen in, setting up their place here, R&D centers here in Israel, because they understand the value of, the mines here in Israel. And there are quite a few of, things that are happening also currently, even through the pandemic time. And it's a startup nation fever, basically. Moving forward, we can see there is over, $118 billion in exit values over the last decades. And just in 2019, 22 billion. So basically, it's a very strong indication to see what's happening with startups in general. And it is important to understand that also in respect to what's going on with real estate technology, which I'll tap into, that's the basic aspect to understand the market here in Israel. Like I said before, we have over 100 foreign funds and over 500 multinational companies that actively invest and innovate in the Israeli ecosystem. These names, are familiar with everybody. It's Sequoia as VC funds, Siemens and Philips, and SAP, and Tesco, and so forth. The list is very, very, very long. But in respect to the real estate sector, it's all across the board. You can see that it can be within the plan design, safety, advanced materials, real estate insurance, property and infrastructure management, maintenance. The markets are really, really active in the property and construction. And there is a reason for that, because basically the technology within these prop tech and construction are basically the same. It's all about the packaging, all about understanding what the relevant technology is relevant for the real estate, and understand how to take it to the real estate arena, how to package it rightly, and how to understand really the needs and the requirements of the market. And I think that's one of the things that we are actually putting a lot of emphasis, is understanding how to be a bridge, not only for our startups or Israeli entrepreneurs, who wish to go into the U.S. market or other markets abroad, and be the bridge, help them go into the market, help them grow, introduce them to the market, but also be a bridge between, those who speak technology and those who speak real estate, because it's two different languages. And that's something we came to an understanding that is very crucial to make that kind of bridge in the dialect, in understanding the different, requirements from both ends. And we see it ourselves as those who are bridging the gap between these two very, very different two worlds. As we all know, real estate is a very, very conservative market. And just in the recent, couple of years, maybe more, have understood that there is an importance of adopting technology. That's also something that's happening during the pandemic. What happens in crisis is, and especially in crisis like the pandemic, but also in other crises we've seen along the history, is there is an acceleration of adoption of technology. You know, you can even think about, Zoom. Who would have thought, about grandmothers and grandfathers and senior citizens, going into the Zoom and, even doing, family reunions and doing the holidays together through Zoom. That's all about technology, and find the ways how we can continue living our life and adopting technology. It's how you use elevators, how you use the office space, how you it's in residential and so forth. It's understanding how to deal with a pandemic. And basically, we see a very rapid, acceleration and the adoption rates of technology. More and more real estate players are coming over to us and other players in the market and asking, okay, we all understand something is happening. We all understand now that more than before that we need to adopt. We need to get into some way to transfer the technology in a way that we can use it, utilize it. But how do we do that? And it's not only about seeing the real estate players bringing in C-level people to try and figure out what's the right way to approach. It's actually them spending capital, either being investors with us or investors with other players, and seeing how they can adopt that. So basically, I think one of the crucial aspects is for us as BuiltUp Ventures, is on one side, when we look into the technology, and there's so many technologies, so many amazing companies here in Israel, is to see what is relevant, what should be the right fit for the companies in the market, in the US, but not just in the US, also the European market, and also in Asia. So just going back forwards, back to the basic aspects of who we are, we have the knowledge and understanding of the real estate markets, and we have the understanding of a venture capital firm that understands how to vet on a company. We have amazing partners. If it's Rail & Cohen, who is a leading IP firm in Israel, and if it's Roth & Co., the leading New York-based accounting firm over there in the East Coast. And it's all about understanding, the mindset from the different markets to help us, be instrumental in taking the companies from Israel into the markets. We can go through the team, both here in Israel. We have a tremendous team. We have Eli Gross, who is the founder of Besadno, the parent company, and Amos, and Zev, and Sigit, and Anna, and Omer over here in Israel, and Gabi Hasson in the US, who leads the go-to-market team, and Isaac, and Mark, and Ralph. And we have an amazing network of people who have one mission: help our company, our portfolio, go forward. So I think in respect to understanding, who BuiltUp is, I think we discussed quite a lot. And if there are any questions, I will be happy to answer. Derek?
Yes, thank you, Oded. There are not any questions just yet. Just a reminder to the attendees that if you do have any questions, please write them in the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen. I do have a question from myself, Oded, while we wait for questions from the attendees to come in. Are there any, looking at the market for PropTech and ConTech in Israel right now, are there any firms or any market subsegments that you're excited about at the moment?
Well, that's a very good question. We are recently also invested in construction tech companies. I think that is a focus of ours, and we see the demands also both from Europe actually and also from the US markets who are looking to integrate. I'll give an example. For instance, we have a new company called Trustor, and they're a construtech company. And one of the things they provide is solution is safety and reliability and efficiency. But if you talk about safety, then if you want to be able to work in this COVID-19 era, they Trustor have the ability to provide the data about the people on the side who are working distance, who's supposed to be there, not supposed to be there, which is crucial to be able to go forward on a construction site. So even Trustor as a company provides at the core aspect of what they provide, the technology, they do provide something which is very important in these times. So that's one example. Another example you can talk about is materials. There is a lot of discussion about new materials, how they integrate into the system, into the manufacturing elements. That's something we're looking also into. Augmented reality is something which is very important. We see that also because people are looking to find alternative ways to deliver the experience of real estate and to showcase the both commercial and real estate and enable that kind of vibe. We see like we have a portfolio called My Tower. It's a property management software solution, and it enables to manage not just the running a residential place and foreseeing what kind of issues will be or IoT elements, but also to manage the day-to-day life during the COVID-19. So there's a lot of emphasis of finding solutions in respect to how to deal with the pandemic. And we see that both through commercial and residential. And I think this is something that I also mentioned in our previous event we had online. We can post the link afterwards. Is that we as BuiltUp Ventures, we're directing $20 million within our investment focus to be able to provide solutions specifically for that. So anything that comes over to us that we see that has a solution that was required now in the markets, and that will be able to provide a solution in the markets for the needs that we have today. That's our focus. Materials is our focus. Construtech is our focus, and and also elements that could combine different kind of technologies that can provide solution that can be not just for the real estate technology arena, but can be also for fintech and IoT, but have some kind of dealing within the real estate technology aspect.
Oh, and we have had a couple of questions that have come in, Oded.
Yes.
The first one, are you seeing any new trends emerging in startups because of COVID-19?
I think that there are some that are more opportunistic, and which is okay. It's okay. We see that because we deal in early stage from seed to round A, and we see companies that have some kind of solution, and they're already started to make their first step in the market. They have the first customers, and if they're able to provide some specific solution to provide a need that is required right now because of COVID-19. Even there's a company that has a robotic solution. So they were able to gear that solution towards something that will be able to clean, purify commercial offices with their system, with their algorithms. So we do see a trend. But it's important to take into account opportunistic, is nice. And whoever has that ability, which is part of their growth, part of the roadmap, that is okay. Even the Israeli authority, innovative authority, is also very, very enthusiastic, and and budgeting. Startups, they have some kind of solution, so they are providing grants for that. So it's something that is also nurturing these trends.
Mhm.
So it can be across the markets. It can be robotics, it can be materials, it can be property management software tools that gear towards assisting in identifying temperatures, and it's something that have to be isolated and so forth. So basically, these are the kind of trends, each one from their own respective technology and solution.
Right. Thank you. And one other question. Do you only focus on Israeli companies?
Well, it's a 90-10 kind of thing. We're looking into building an ecosystem.
Mhm.
When you're building an ecosystem and you're finding the right pieces to put into the puzzle, if we do see from our side, it might be considered as opportunistic. If we see a piece of the puzzle or part of the equation that we see that it's required to build the ecosystem we look into building, and it's not necessarily Israeli based, then we will invest.
Perfect. And that appears to be all of the questions we've had come in through the Q&A now, Oded.
Well, I'm happy to be of assistance, and I hope this provides some light of what we're doing as BuiltUp and what's happening over here in Israel. And any other questions, you're free to connect with me on my LinkedIn, and please be successful and stay safe.
Oh, wait a minute. As you were saying that, someone's saying thank you. Thank you for the great presentation, Oded. And thank you very much for joining us today, and for attendees as well. Thank you. Please be sure to come back and visit us at 12 p.m. in around 40 minutes for our next presentation, which is Dan Williams, the CEO of Measurable Ltd, an energy management firm out of the UK. Thank you so much for your time, Oded.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.